We're moving on. We can now continue with helping EU citizens obtain social benefits with personal regulation assistance. The goal, to share, combine, and enhance existing technologies and knowledge around personal regulation assistance, as well as rules of code. It is all about making it easier for citizens and organizations to access schemes and services they're entitled to. Let's hear more about it from the team. Please come to the floor, Deraj and Michelle. The floor is yours. And Luma. No, you're coming.
Test. Yeah, it's working. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dheeraj Kumar Bijanath. I'm from DigiCampus from the Netherlands. And today I'll present our joint work on Pilot 2 about the personal regulation assistant and as a part of the GovTech4All program. And this pilot explores how we can help citizens access public services and benefits more easily by using technology like rules as code. The next slide, please. Yeah, this one I tell yet. Let's tell about the team. This pilot is a collaboration between 3 partners: DigiCampus from the Netherlands, DINUM from France, and GRNet from Greece. Each country developed their own version of the PRA, the Personal Regulation Assistant. And in this presentation, we will show what we learn and create together. What are the drivers of this initiative? What we like to solve? There is a serious problem because many citizens don't receive their benefits where they are entitled to. And the main reason is regulations are too complex and services are too hard to find, and people don't trust the system. And we want to change this by giving people digital help that is simple, clear, and trustworthy automatically. The fundamental challenge. Back. Here is the challenge. Rules written for human, but hard to understand. At the same time, governance becoming more digital. And we need something to help translate law into the advice, and without replace human decisions. And that's where the personal regulation assistance comes from. Our big goal is to make public services easy for use for everyone, and like online version product. The personal regulation assistant should explain your rights, helping apply for benefits, and also available when you need it. It should be fair, transparent, and personal. That's the digital future we want to build. And what is it? This is the personal regulation assistant. It's a digital assistant that helps you understand which rules apply in your situation. It simulates your situation, explains your options, and guides you to the right service and application forms. It used the technology rules as code to do this possible. There are also fundamental success factors. There are 3 what we find out. To build a good personal regulation assistant are 3 things. You need a clear, structured rules, formalized with rules as code technology. And the second one is focus on the real user. That's why we take many tests. And the third one is a strong sense of trust. You need trust from people, and to build into the tool design and transparency. Let's tell more about the rules as code. The rules as code mean turn the law into the code and not replace a lawyer or civil servant, but make the rule usable for both, for the people and for the machine. And we used open source tools like OpenFisca to model real benefits rules from France, Greece, and the Netherlands. The second one is user-centric, also very important. Technology is only useful if people use it. And so we focus on a lot of user tests. We found that clear, simple language is more important than fancy design of app. A personal regulation assistant must guide people step by step with successful text and explanation. And it should feel like talking to someone who really wants to help you. And trust is critical. It's very critical. Trust is everything. People need to understand how the personal regulation assistant give advice. So we made sure that assistant explain where the rules comes from and how it is applied. It should never feel like a black box anymore. It must be clear, explainable, and reliable. And how we work on this pilot. We work in short cycle to build a product, test again, and improve again. We use design tools like Miro, Figma, and role models like business process model notation, also decision model notation, and code on open source like OpenFisca. We shared knowledge between 3 countries and compare different approaches of building the personal regulation assistant. And we built many things also. Design flows and prototypes and legal rule models in code, text for user interface, web apps, and also interactive demos you will see later. And we did this together with local experts from each country and also community, what we have in the GovTech4All, and through open collaboration. And what are the shared assets? What did we build that others can use? Like communities. In March this year, we had a Rules as Code event in Paris. It was very successful. And we share knowledge. Now we know each other. We can find each other also. What we also make, we make a Rules as Code framework and training that we can share with everyone. And design tools and patterns also available. Prototypes and apps. We made most open source and products and also reusable. And you can explore by the link. Everything is available. So next, we show some demos about the products from these 3 countries. It's different products. First one, my colleague Gabriel will tell more about it. And after that, Despina, our colleague from GRNet from Greece, will tell. And finally, Michel from France, a colleague, will tell. And I give now the floor to Gabriel to tell the Dutch version, the PRA. And thank you for your attention. And speak to you later. Gabriel.
Good afternoon, everybody. All right, yeah, you can hear me. All right, so I'm going to talk a bit about the Dutch side of the PRA, how it started, what their key insights was, what the prototype was for us. Can I get to the next slide? Yeah, perfect. So the key insights. One of the, not all people can, want, or will use a digital tool. The PRA was designed not just for direct users, but also for intermediaries. These compose of family members, social workers, or support staff. This makes it easier for people who can't or don't want to use any digital tool themselves to still benefit from the PRA. One key insight as well was to make it really, really simple and accessible. So we Dutch focused on clear minimalistic interfaces, avoiding bureaucratic languages or long forms. The design was co-created with users, including people with low digital literacy, to make it initiative and non-threatening. So we're always keeping the end users in the back of our mind, which is also one of the cornerstones of our philosophy back at DigiCampus as well. Make it give or extract truthful, personalized advice. If the PRA says you're eligible for something, you really, really are, and must be able to do this most of the times. So the PRA relies on formalized Dutch regulation models, such as Open Fisca or DMN. If the system says someone is eligible for a benefit that's legally accurate in almost all cases, it will reduce false expectations, which we consider extremely importantly in the PRA. Make it anonymously for usable by orientation. A key feature is that users can explore their options without logging in or providing personal data. This allows, according to us, to build trust between the citizens, users, and the government, and to use it as an orientation tool before engaging in official procedures. Now, the next slide will include a UX design of the PRA as done in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, the PRA reached an advanced prototype phase with strong user experience design, architectural groundwork, and positive user testing. It allowed anonymously exploration and worked across services. The project concluded successfully, I might add, in 2024, so last year, but scaling was put on hold, unfortunately. Not for lack of readiness, but due to missing political or institutional follow-up. So as we've seen throughout this event today, political buy-in is insanely important. We've developed a clickable Figma prototype and partial working prototypes. The Dutch organizations developed a highly fidelity clickable prototypes in Figma and tested it with real end users. These included both general PRA flows and specific use cases. One of these use cases was a social benefit eligibility. Prototypes were linked to real logic through tools like OpenFiscNL, showing early functionality. The functional design and architecture we have developed, or the Dutch teams has developed, a detailed functional design supporting complex user journeys. The architecture allowed for integration of multiple public services, reflecting real-life situations where citizens need to combine benefits. Now on the edge and functionality and anonymous use. The defining feature that we found quite important that in the Netherlands was anonymous orientation, where users could explore eligibility without identifying themselves. This would allow them to see if they're eligible for something without putting in their personal data, such as social security number, bank account, or birthdays, or their street names. The system could work well with variable information, such as a wallet, when users were ready. But it was not mandatory. So the multiple service support works for all services simultaneously. Unlike tools focused on a single benefit, the Dutch PRA focused and mainly across different services simultaneously. This addressed scenarios where citizens qualify for multiple overlapping benefits, which is common in real life as well. When it comes to the user research and concept design and prototypes, we've done extensive user research and testing were conducted on the concept, interaction design, and prototypes. The feedback from citizens, intermediaries, domain experts were crucial in this part, informing each design iteration was done properly. However, of course, not all innovation projects comes without their cost. What we have seen as obstacles or key blockers was the lack of mature AU digital identity wallets, or the AID, and variable credentials as the QEAA, lack of traceability between agreements. When we say lack, it could also be no clear traceability between laws, policy, rules, or digital implementations, lack of interoperability, fragmentations in rule languages and modeling methods, such as OpenFISCA or BPMN, which was one of the languages we used within this project. To address this, we have developed, or co-developed, so to say, a standard for public rule management, the core public rule management vocabulary. It's quite a word. This aims to ensure interoperability, traceability, and readiness for integration with trusted digital identity systems, aligning with both NORA and IER. More on that on the next slide. So we think what's next. What's next for us within this project, because Pilot 2 will continue as Pilot 8 as a citizen-centric rules code. We will still be involved in it, of course, and to scale up the concept of the PRA, we're still co-developing the core public rule management vocabulary, or the CPRMV, in GovTech4All. This standard allows public rules to be made machine-readable and reusable, enabling more accurate, user-friendly digital services. This work is anchored in a Dutch project called regels.overheid.nl. Loosely translated, for those who don't know Dutch here, rules@government.nl. And it relates to the NORA, so the Dutch Governmental Reference Architecture, and it aligns with AIRA, which is the European Interoperability Reference Architecture. This ensures both natural consistency at a national level and a European level. As we just heard, that interoperability is a key aspect in the upcoming SGA, so we want to make sure that we're on top of it as well. This will make it easier to scale the PRA across borders, which we hope to achieve, of course, in the upcoming 2 years. I think that was my last slide. Up right now, I'm gonna give the word back to Ms. Spina from GRNet. Thank you so much.
Join me.
Sit there.
Okay, so I will give you, don't do it yet because I need to, okay. Okay, so I'm back on stage. So I'm going to tell you what we did as GRNet for Pilot 2. So for the Pilot PRA, we tried to identify some social benefits, and our goal was to create a realistic proof of concepts in terms of research and application. So we have the word leverage, but I just want to say I think we collaborated and we reused the methodologies that DINUM and DigiCampus have already used before, because they came into this pilot as an expert. We came into the pilot just wanting to learn more about that. We were not an expert when we started this pilot. And for us, the added value was to focus on the analysis and the formalization. So the way we worked is we did a lot of analysis and collect a lot of relevant legislative texts. We decided early on that we wanted to go and build a PRA, or a proof of concept of a PRA for social benefits. So we had to collect all legislative texts, extract and mind gap the basic info text, and then to formalize that, so we created a lot of, as you can see on the slide, decision trees, glossary and variable tables, rules expressions in decision tables, so the DMNs, and we also used a little bit of BPMN. So what we came up at the end is we had a clickable Figma proof of concept, similar to the one that Gabriel just talked about, but we also managed to create a web app. So all the coding was done in OpenFISCA, and we had DINUM to thank for that, because they were the experts on that. And I think, can I use, because I think the link will not work here, so how can I, is it here? So I will go very, very quickly, and I hope you can see, but I will show a little bit of how it works, the the application that we use. So it's about child benefits, and the idea, and I just want to set that straight at the beginning, I think we've already said about that, PRAs are not there to actually, replace the formal application process of how somebody gets the benefit. It's just there to inform citizens and be proactive services, inform citizens if they are entitled to a benefit or not. So this, the child benefit works in, we have the both English and Greek version. I'm going to showcase the English version so you can understand a little bit what we're doing. So you are starting, okay. So you can select your beneficiary status. So we have a list of, different type of citizenship that you can have, and they all derive from the legislation that exists. I'll just go for, just to make it a bit quicker now. I'm a Greek citizen. Are you filing a tax return for 5 years in Greece? I will say yes, which is actually true. So what is the composition of your family? I will go for family with 2 parents, but all these questions derive from the legislation that exists for this benefit. Again, we try to minimize the information that we need from the citizen. Do you have non-married dependent children in Greece? I'm going to say yes. Number of children, I'm just going to put 1 here just so you see how it works. So when you put 1, then you just have to provide the date of birth from your child. I'll go for, does it work? Yeah. So I'll go for like 2014, which is the date of my daughter's birthday. Not the exact date, but whatever. So you have to put the, if it's the status, so the educational status, so basic education, high school, university. And I'm saving that. And then if I go to next, I have to put like my annual family income. I'll just put here. This, as you see, it's like self-evaluation, so it doesn't actually gather any real information. Again, it's for information purposes. So at the end, it will give you if you are entitled or not to the child benefit, the amount you are entitled, and then you have the process of how you can apply for the actual benefit. So it's just, a service that helps people and citizens learn about the benefits that they need. This can be applied to other social benefits as well. So we wanted not only to do the proof of concept of, how it works in a clickable Figma, but we actually built the application here. And it has also like reasons of how the allowance could be terminated and stuff like that. How do I get out of here and go back to the presentation? Okay, you will manage it for me. Thank you so much. So, key insights, critical success factors for us. The institutional organizational buy-in, again, you will hear this is the most important thing you have to do at the beginning. Bridging gap between legal experts and developers. This is a tricky thing because, most of legal people and developers work like in silos. Sorry about that. So we have to bring together different expertise in order to make it work. User-centric design and development. This is what you always have to work thinking the users. And we did actually some iterations when we had stakeholders coming in, like people that we know that usually apply for this kind of benefits, coming in and testing the questions with them and getting their feedback and coming back and doing changes into the applications we had. And we would like to have the regulation streamlining and simplification. This was beyond the scope of the project, but this is the ultimate goal. This is where we want to go. So what's next for us? We have found that now that we have done the proof of concept and the applications, we have to do find opportunities to go to market. So we are thinking about potential integration of PRA in the next Gen and National Public Service Registry. And this is why we decided to also work for the second SGA, again with the rules of code methodology, because we think we have to now expand the know-how and involve more people. We think it's a methodology that it's worth like spending more time into it and deep diving into it. And before I just hand the floor to Michelle and Dinu, because I appear here too much, I just have, I feel the need to say, obviously it's not me that has done all this work. I have a very strong and team very committed that they have put a lot of effort into these pilots, because you'll see GRNet is involved in all 3 pilots. Most of them couldn't be here today and yesterday, but obviously none of this would have been possible without the effort of all the people that work in GRNet into this project. So thank you so much. Michelle, you can go next.
Hi everyone, so I'm Michel, I'm from DINUM in Paris. And today I will talk about PRAs and what we did actually back in France. So it was a few months ago, we tried the first PRA, to build the first PRA in France. Not in France, but for a specific topic that I will talk a little bit more in a few minutes. And as you know, there is like this whole general problem, which is that we need to have transparent rules, and rules can be very complex. So you have to bridge the gap between, on the one hand, you have the technical people in the administration that know the law very well, and on the other hand, you have the citizen, and the citizen might not know the law and the subsidy rules so clearly. So the whole idea is to make something very transparent, very clear, so that it kind of bridge the gap between those 2 populations. So the solution was to create a PRA, and we use this rule as code approach. So for me, it's a fancy word to say that we need to encode the law as an algorithm, and the algorithm is delivered to the citizen in a very simple UI UX platform with explanations of what is going on and why they have a subsidy or why they don't have access to this subsidy. So maybe I will try to show and click the link to the demo. I don't know if it's possible here to switch to the laptop. Oh, thanks a lot. Perfect. So this is what we've built. So you have like very simple question. We try to target a very specific moment in life. We targeted students who begin after high school or after later on when they begin new study and move out to a new city. So they have to get a rent. Sometimes it's costly to move from one city to another. So that's where the government can really help its citizen. And we created this survey to target this kind of events in life. So basically, we're asking, it's of course open to everyone, but we mostly focused our questions to target young citizens that are students. So basically, you have a lot of questions. I will try to go fast, but we're asking if you are employed or not. I'm not employed. I will say that I'm beginning new studies. And you have this question about birth dates. I will try. So I'll say I'm very young. Yeah, 2 years old is not really a bit young to move around, but I have an issue with the keyboard, but never mind. It's going to be used like this. Okay, let's try this. So, yeah, I'm not in situation of handicap. Sorry, I'm going through the whole form. So as you can see, it's also difficult because you have to take into account that depending on the cities, you might have local subsidies or different subsidies. So you have to implement all these kind of different rules. And let's go forwards towards the results. I really want to show how the result page looks like. So we are basically trying to make the calculation for 6 different subsidies here, hence the numerous questions. And let's say, let's say I have to pay like 1,000 euros, but since I don't have the keyboard, it's going to be a very cheap house. Up. And here we go. And then there is like this open fiscal calculation that is going on under the hood. And then you have access to all the different subsidies that you might access. And of course, you might go into detail. So this is very important to show the citizens what are the source of truth, which are actually the regulations and the laws that you can check on. And finally, there is a call to action to make the actual ask to the government to get the subsidy. Okay, so let's go back now to the PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, thanks a lot. And so I want to talk, so the rule as code as improving transparency and automation, I will be very quick with this. We get why this is important. We are all also citizens, and we want to understand if we are eligible to an aid or not, and we're not really technical. But what is very interesting, and for me was very interesting in our experiment, is that we chose deliberately to use a strategy of reintegration. So basically, the idea is to make the whole code base open source and very accessible for reintegration. So once we made this survey, the survey that you have seen can be integrated in any website, whether you are a public agency or even a private company selling services to students or to the parents of students. You can use a one-liner of code and reintegrate through eFrame our survey. So this was our strategy because we don't have a broad audience by ourselves, but we can have partners and onboard partners and who are already known by the students, for instance, or by the corporate law in the future when we'll create a second PRA for corporate law and SMEs. So a lesson that we've learned is that early feedback is very important. You never spend enough time on UI, UX, and on how to ask the question to your end users. It's really different from what the experts are telling you to write because they come from different backgrounds, and you really have to bridge the gap between them. So if you can early on, while you're still modelizing the law as an algorithm, if you can already test it with your end user, it's good. So you're never too early to test what you're trying to code. So this is one of the key lessons that I've learned. But of course, you have like regulatory challenge that will remain. So the basic problem, I think, that is unsolved at this point, from my point of view, is that there is no referee. So you can go to the administrations that are creating the laws and are instructing all the files that citizens are sending them, but they won't be able to really stamp your algorithm and say, okay, what you've done is good, it's true, I 100% agree with your line of code. So this is the problem. The problem is that you need to find the referee, and most of the time there is none, even though there are many people willing to help you and test your program. Yeah, so what's next? We've talked a little bit about this already, so I'm going to be very quick and concise with the end of this presentation. But we really want to focus on stronger integration. As you have seen by the end of our survey that I've just demoed a few minutes back, at the end of this, there was only a link to go to email, like the ask for the subsidy, but it would be so much better if we could integrate with an API of the agencies that are receiving files from the citizens. And we are going to try to test it, but this kind of projects are very hard to scale, and I won't go much into details because I think my colleagues have already spoken a lot about the importance of interoperability, and this is exactly one use case where interoperability could be great for every party involved. And finally, I'm going to talk about AI. So my question is KPI based. If you don't use AI and if you do like one PRA, like the one I've shown you, it took us 3 months. The second one we're trying to, is almost in production, and it took us half the time. And I think there is room for decreasing and streamlining the production of PRAs. So the goal is to aim for 24 hours production. I think this is feasible, but you have to. We are testing AI, how this can improve the streamlining of this production. One use case is when you see at the different laws, you can use web scraper, and then you can have an AI interpret the HTML text that was scraped in all the different websites. And once you have this, you can also, again, use the AI to transform it into either OpenFISCA or public code code. And in the end, I think you can onboard different human experts to check and have a tool for the experts to generate test case. So and this can be also generated by AI, so that you can have reliable meta-language, rule-as code representation of law even when the law changes. So you don't want to break anything. So yeah, basically that's it for me. I think we've all like shared these findings, and I will finally just emphasize that organizational buy-in is very important to have everyone around the table, because we all share the same goal, which is to make the law very accessible for citizens and help them at the critical moment of their life. So for that, you need to have a different set of skills, and you have to onboard so many different organizations. And but we live in the real life, so regulatory challenge will remain, and hopefully we'll take a step further. That's it for me. I was very pleased to be here, and thanks a lot for your attention once again.
Also, thank you. All the organization work together on this. Dinum, Andreas, Despina, Irina, and from DG Campus, Jet Klaver, Bas, Kaptein, Gabriel, and also Michel, Joa. All of them, thank you very much. And now I give the floor to Alex again.
We also have to thank somebody else who jumped in at the very last minute here and took over from Yet, which is not an easy job to do. So a big thank you, Dheeraj, for being so eloquent and graceful, and for taking over the reins in such an organized and proactive manner. It's really, really appreciated, and welcome on board. And a thank you also to all of the speakers, and to Michelle, especially for traveling down a little bit last minute for us. It's very much appreciated, and Gabrielle, obviously, as well. And Despina, of course, but I've thanked her a lot, so. Okay,